Then silently she holds, and service done, bowed down to the great goddess, simply carved by Satyavan upon a forest stone. What prayer she breathed, her soul and Durga know. Perhaps she felt in the dim forest shoe the infinite mother watching over her child. Perhaps the shrouded voice spoke something word.
Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, the Divine Consciousness must be our only guide. With love and my blessings, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo from the collective works of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, SABCL, Volume 17, The Hour of God, Chapter 7, Consciousness, Psychology, page 23. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, all that exists or can exist in this or any other universe can be rendered into terms of consciousness. There is nothing that cannot be known. This knowing need not be always a mental knowledge, for the greater part of existence is either above or below mind, and mind can know only indirectly what is above or what is below it. But the one true and complete way of knowing is by direct knowledge. All can be rendered into terms of consciousness because all is either a creation of consciousness or else one of its forms. All exists in an infinite conscious existence and is a part or a form of it. In proportion as one can share directly or indirectly, completely or incompletely in the eternal awareness of this infinite or monetarily contact or enter into it or formulate some superior or inferior power of its consciousness or knowledge, one can know what it knows in part or whole by a direct knowing or an indirect coming to knowledge. A conscious, half-conscious or subconscious participation in the awareness of the infinite is the basis of all knowledge. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, all things are inhabited by this consciousness, even the things that seem to us inconscient, and the consciousness in one form can communicate or contact with the consciousness in another, or else penetrate or contain or identify with it. This in one form or another is the true process of all knowledge. The rest is ignorant appearance. All things are one self. It is the one knower who knows himself everywhere from one center or another in the multiplicity of his play. Otherwise, no knowledge would be possible. The sense of a greater or even an ultimate self need not be limited to a negative and empty wideness whose one character is to be without limitations or features. The first extreme push of our recoil from what we know are or think ourselves to be may and does often at first carry us over into this annihilating experience, a negation of our present error, a release from our petty, irksome, aching bonds may seem to be the only thing worth having, the only thing true. The rest is infinity, freedom, peace. And Lord Sri Aurobindo says, we feel an infinite that needs nothing but its own infinite to fill it. We rejoice in a freedom of which any form, name, or description, any creative activity, any movement, any impulse would be a disturbing denial and the beginning of a relapse into the error of will and desire, the ignorance of the illusory finite. To accept nothing but the bare bliss of infinity is the condition of this peace. The mind, escaping from itself, denies all thought, all form making, all motion or play of any kind, for that would be a grievous return to send, a miserable imprisonment and renewed hard labor. The life, says our Lord, the life released from the toil of laboring and striving and living demands only immobility and no more to be a sleep of force, the surety and rest of an immutable status. The body accepts denial and dissolution, for to be dissolved is to cease to breathe and suffer. A bodiless, lifeless, mindless, infinite breath and supreme silence.
She came to the pale mother queen. She spoke, but with guarded lips and tranquil face, and forced upon her speech an outward peace. 1 year that I have lived with Satyavan, I have not gone into the silences of this great woodland that enwrapped my thoughts. Now has a strong desire seized all my heart to go with Satyavan, holding his hand. Release me now and let my heart have rest. She answered, do as thy wise mind desires. O calm and child sovereign, with the eyes that hold.
Shows to us that we are in contact with the Absolute. All existence, as the mind and sense know existence, is the manifestation of an eternal and infinite, which is to the mind and sense unknowable, but not unknowable to its own self-awareness. Whatever the manifestation may be, spiritual or material or other, it has behind it something that is beyond itself, and even if we reach the highest possible heights of the manifested existence, they would still be beyond that, even an unmanifested from which it came. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, the unmanifested Supreme is beyond all definition and description by mind or speech. No definition the mind can make, affirmative or negative, which can be at all expressive of it or adequate. To the mind, this unmanifest can present itself as a self, the supreme nihil, a featureless absolute, an indeterminate, a blissful nirvana of manifested existence, a non-being out of which being came, or a being of silence out of which a world illusion came. But all these are mental formulas expressing the mind's approach to it, not that, but impressions which fall from that upon the receiving consciousness, not the true essence or nature, swarupa, of the eternal and infinite. Even the words eternal and infinite are only symbolic expressions through which the mind feels, without grasping, some vague impression of this supreme. If we say of it, Neti, Neti, this can mean nothing except that nothing in the world or beyond it of which the mind can take cognizance is the supreme in its entirety or its essence. If we say of it, Iti, iti, this can mean at the most that we see of it in the world or beyond is some indication of something that is there beyond, and by traveling through all these indications to their absolutes, we may get a step or two nearer to the absolute of the absolutes, this supreme. Both formulas have a truth in them, but neither touches the secret truth of the supreme, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo.